just a minute. Now, hold on, Mr. Potter. Just a minute. Now, you're right when you say my father was no businessman. I know that. Neither you nor anybody else can say anything against his character because his whole life was, why, in the 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. Isn't that right, Uncle Billy? He didn't save enough money to send Harry to school, let alone me. But he did help a few people get out of your slums, Mr. Potter. And what's wrong with that? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him.
So, hi. This video, it's a day late. It's not just because it's Sunday, I mean, it's not, you don't pay attention to when I post it, really. Most of you don't watch it on the day I post it for the most part anyway, so it's not that, it doesn't really matter. It's just, I am a bit overwhelmed right now, and those of you who watched last week, you'll know why. But there's so much more to the story than that. My cat is sick. Madonna just put out a new album. And those two events are not related, despite what you may think. There's all kinds of things working against me in my progress right now, but here I am. And it is time, or it was time, but it is now time because I'm doing it now, for my Father's Day video. And I dressed for the occasion too, see? Got dressed like my dad, see? I got the pants. My dad taught me to live in comfort. You probably figured that I'd be doing this Father's Day video since I did a Mother's Day video, but that wasn't supposed to be a Mother's Day video. It was supposed to be a video for my mother's special birthday back in April, but my life decided that it was meant to be a Mother's Day video instead. So, but I don't really have anything planned for this Father's Day video, but I'll do my best. My dad always taught me to do my best. I can't really be half-assing it anyway, because, you know, it's not just you regular losers watching. There's gonna be, my dad's friends will watch this one, and people he knows will watch this. But, I'm sorry, I shouldn't call you losers. None of you, I don't think of any of you as losers. You watch my videos. You're supporting me right now by watching my video, and I'm very appreciative of that, and I don't take it lightly. It's just, I guess, that sometimes I tend to act up when my dad, when it demands that a situation dictates decorum and decency and respect. You can imagine any number of reasons why he would have hauled me out of a Chinese restaurant when I was a kid to give me a stern yelling at in the parking lot. But anyway, this video being a day late, it works out to my advantage because now I can show you some shots of my dad when it's actually Father's Day. I made sure I wore my special Okinawa shirt that my dad gave me and brought me special from Okinawa. I wear it for Father's Day, of course I did. And you're supposed to reply to messages when people send them to you on Father's Day.
What messages?
I sent you a message on Father's Day.
You sent me a picture of
yeah. You didn't.
A little kid dancing.
And you didn't reply.
Oh, I didn't know how to respond to that.
Well, I guess not. Here we've already been getting into the cheese plate that my dad sets out every visit without fail, every single time. Including on Father's Day. See, I came here to see him on Father's Day and he is serving me. Go figure. That cheese plate is a staple. A new one miraculously finds its way to me each and every time I visit my dad, whether I like it or not, whether I want it or not. Did you see that meat stuff? And that kielbasa on that plate? I hate that stuff, but I don't want it. But he keeps putting it on there each and every time. Other people eat it, I guess. But I've just come to accept that if I'm going to be seeing my dad, there will be cheese. I'm actually glad that we get along this way now, and that there's cheese. It wasn't always this way, but if you look at the pictures, you can tell that it actually started out this way. Aww. 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 My dad will be happy to know, because I'll never tell him any other way, that two of my fondest memories that I go back to quite often actually. One is when he would take me riding around on that horse, and the other is when he'd pull me around on my wagon behind a riding lawnmower. This one. That's my grandma. It wasn't the safest setup, riding around the back field that way all day. My dad, always with a cigarette hanging out his mouth, shirt off, beet red, and me, hooked to the back of the thing, riding along behind, bumping away, singing songs to myself. Those were happy and peaceful times for me. It's probably why I like cutting the grass now, and why it's such a peaceful Zen moment for me still. But he could have killed me. But you know what? I'll take the rose-colored memories instead. There's a lot of those, including all the times I just wanted to entertain him, at home and in the car.
So, how's the ride up?
Long. Jordy made me sing along to the Rent soundtrack.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Jordy St. James.
That's a stage name. That's Nick's Dame Jordy Dench.
Santa Claus, Mr. Santa Claus, I guess the kids applause, Mr. Santa Claus.
That boy is the next Wayne Newton.
That is pretty true to life. I was a Geordie. Until I got older and started shutting that part of me away from the world so nobody could see it. Aren't you glad I stopped doing that? My dad is. See, when I stopped to think about it, and I think about it more often now, and I mean, I've talked about it in the past about how appreciative of my dad and how supportive he's been of me through my 30s and 40s. And when I really stop to think about it, I do realize that my dad, he's been supporting me my whole life. See, when I was up there doing those dance routines as a kid, my dad, he was the one standing there with the camera, taking pictures. See? He even had the wherewithal to keep his camera out and keep taking pictures when I had my inevitable temper tantrum when everyone else proceeded to talk awkwardly amongst themselves and focus on anything else besides my ribbon twirling. I was furious. I was not happy about that. Thanks, Pa. I appreciate it. My dad was supportive of me in a lot of ways. I just chose not to see it that way at the time. It wasn't long after that that I stopped being the cute and entertaining little moppet that they'd always known and became hell on 2 feet for a good decade or so. My dad got busier as I got older too. And he didn't always have time for me, and I started to resent it.
Dad, how do you spell frankincense?
I don't know. Why, ask your mother.
After a while, I just didn't like being around my dad. He wasn't as fun as my mom, and he was always making me do stuff. I hated that. And just so, I mean, it didn't matter what he did after that. I just couldn't get over it. I couldn't stand being around him for so many years. And he'd always have some chore or martial art for me to do. So most of my childhood, it kind of went something like this.
I am your father.
Suck it up, kid. He was just trying to be a good dad. And maybe he was a little gruff about it, but I just didn't really like much of anything when I was a kid. Especially food. I could be pretty manipulative about it as well.
What is this crap?
Salisbury steak.
I hate it.
You know I heard it. You had it last week and you loved it.
No, I didn't. Hate the brown stuff. It's gross.
Right. All that is onions and gravy.
I'm allergic to onions.
You are not allergic to onions. You had this last week, and remember I told you it was my favorite when I was a little boy, and you said it's my favorite too.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Here, it's regular hamburger. Just give it a little bite. It's delicious. What's the matter?
I think I'm gonna throw up.
No, you're not. No, you're gonna eat it.
Yucky.
It is not yucky, Billy. Eat it.
Eventually, most discussions would just devolve into this sort of thing.
You are a slow, rotten little brat, and I'll tell you right now,
I hate you.
and I hate you back, you little shit.
I want my
God.
So when I think about it long enough, I feel really bad about all the crap that I put my dad through. All the things that I must have said and done to him and how it must have made him feel. But you know what? I don't think about it that way anymore. Now I realize everything that he did for me growing up. And I was some messed up kid. So now when I look back on it, it looks something like this, but not literally. Just think of this as a metaphor for my gruesome childhood as a whole. And this is my dad trying to get me through it.
Rest your head. Watch it! Rest your head. We're almost there. Alicia, where's the emergency room?
So as you may have picked up on, I reflect a lot on my life now. I have a lot of time to do it. And so I've been thinking about my dad. And the more I think about my dad, the more I know and I realize, and I know I don't say it enough. I don't think I ever say it, and he may not even know. But honestly and truly.
Pop, you want a shock? I think you're a great guy.
Oh, Daddy.
Oh, Dad, I won't leave you hanging like that. I will make sure it comes out of my own mouth. From me to you, Dad, I do think you're a great guy. Honest. I'm not even crossing my fingers.
And who's gonna come to save you, Junior? I told you! Don't call me Junior.
So my dad's had a lot of nicknames for me over the years. None of them been Junior, but, you know, there's been Benji. Well, that was everybody's. But for my dad always used to call me Beaner, Beanbag, Ba, Booba, Ba Bear, Guy. Hey, Guy. Sonny Jim. It's kind of my mom's too, but... my boy. There's one that I always tease him about and I always pick on him and make fun of him for it, but it's the one I like the best, and it's the one I'll always give him. It's when he calls me my son. Because I know when he calls me my son that he's proud of me, and that he's saying it because he's proud of his boy, my son. He's always like, when's my son getting here? My son would never say that. My son would never do that. My son, that's my son. And I pick on him about it all the time, but it makes me really happy whenever he calls me that, because it just reminds me that he's always been proud of me, always, my whole life. I never have to know what it's like to be disowned by my father because I'm gay. I don't think he knows how much that means to me. Well, now he does. I promised myself I wasn't gonna cry doing this. But, sorry, Pa. So, you can call me my son anytime you want, and I'll still pick on you about it, but just know that it means the world to me whenever I hear it. Thank you for being my dad, and thank you for being, like, one of my top fans. You're always there watching my videos. My dad, he is. Like, I remember I told you, he's in, like, the top 5 always of my video, the fan club. Whenever I do the roundup, he's there always. He's always around, commenting, liking, watching them, all the way through. And if he misses one or forgets about it, he always wants me to tell him and make sure that I lead him to where he can catch up again. So, Dad, none of this floats by me. I may not say it much, and I may not talk about these things with you, because you don't want me to anyway, but I just want you to know that how you feel about me is how I feel about you, so thanks. I love you, Dad. Papa San. I just got finished shaving my face. It's another one of the things that makes me think of my dad, is every time I shave my face, I think of my dad. I remember the time that my dad taught me how to shave my face when I was 12. I started a bit early. And I hear him in my head telling me how to do it every single time. So no matter what, no matter what's going on, no matter what happens, my dad is always there telling me how to go against the grain. So it's his fault that I'm opposite of everything. Shh.
And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good time there.
So there you go. There's me and my dad. Now, it's not a really good song to use, but it's actually really appropriate for my and my dad's relationship these days. Because he's always asking me when I'm going to be coming to visit, and he's always bugging me about it. And I always say, soon, Dad, soon. So, I don't know when, but you know we'll have a good time then. I know we'll have a good time then. I was going to use Phil Collins' song, and he even owned it on tape, but, you know, there's no real explicit references to father-son in it, even though it's called Father to Son, and honestly, he's not even going to remember owning it. It was 30 years ago. It wasn't even a single, so, and I hate Phil Collins, so, no.
What the best light is, that's probably the best place whatever time of day we can do it.
Was it going to be like a class, or?
No, just me.
Just you?
It's just,
So you and, okay, so.
what would you call it? It would be me.
A profile?
Doing my karate after, it would be, holy crap, 60 years?
Do people know about this, or is it just going to be a surprise?
Not for people.
It's just for you?
It's for me.
Okay.
So I can look back when I'm 85 and see how I did it.
See, when you were a young buck,
Yeah.
when you were a spring chicken.
Well, we have to do a couple, see how they go. And I want to chronicle it because I don't want people changing it down the road. Right?
Okay.
If they do it different, then it's not the same. Right? And everybody does it different. So if they got a video to, you know, kind of stick with the same, it would be good.
Oh, you're done.
Why?
We're gonna, I just wanted to say bye.
Bye.
Bye. So we're gonna say bye, and I'll be back, I guess. And
I hope so.
And well, you see what I'm talking about? He's always saying stuff like that. Always. Okay, well, thanks for this picture.
Take your monkey picture.
Yeah, I'll get out of here. Bye.
See you soon.
Another constant in my life is that my dad will see me off each time I visit him, every time, without fail. So that I know that every time I leave his house, that he'll be there waving and already looking forward to the next time I come up that driveway. So, Dad, I will try to make sure that that is sooner than later. But first, I have to show something to everybody. I have to teach them something that you taught me. We're gonna work out.
Left, right, left, right.
I guess not quite like that. So yeah, maybe kind of like that, but Okinawan. You know that 20-minute workout classic? It is actually holds a special place for me and my sisters. My sisters, it's one of those things that they tell you that my dad would make them do that they hated, that I was talking about earlier. But for me, it could explain a lot. It's all thanks to my dad. I don't know if you caught on, but he asked me to film him doing his karate. Because he's, like, again, I guess he's proud enough of my videos that he thinks that I can make him a video worthy of his karate. And I am very flattered and honored that he asked me, and I will do my best. Kind of like what I'm going to do with this kata here that I'm about to show you. See, now don't get hung up on that word. It's a kata, yes, but it's not just about karate form. It's also a good stress relief and a good breathing exercise. So that's why I'm going to show it to you right now, so you can maybe get up and do it with me, and maybe it can help you out with your life. It's not karate. You don't have to be thinking about it doing karate. Think of it as stress relief, breathing exercise, what have you. But you can follow along with me. I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you a couple things before we get started, just so that you know. And I hope I do my dad proud. But what you should know is when we take a step, if you're going to follow along with me, take a step. You want you to do the feet with semicircles, always semicircle. Just imagine. You want, when your foot lands, they're always to be shoulder width apart. You want your front heel to be on the same line with your back toes. Shoulder width apart with your feet, with your front toe slightly pointed in. And also you want to know about when you do the arm movements that you're making a V with your arm. You want your fist to be always below your shoulder, and you want your elbow to always be one fist away from your ribs. So whenever I do something like that, that's what we're doing. And the breathing is very important. So you want to breathe in deeply every time. Breathe in deeply, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then out, also deeply. Like you're mad at someone. And your fist should always be in line with your solar plexus. Not out here, not over there, just right here. And never punch with bent wrist. Always flat. Let's get started. Again, I hope I don't mess up. I do this only for my own benefit. I haven't done it professionally in a long time, so here goes nothing. Come on, do it with me. Okay, so now when you open, like this, and again, remember, feet shoulder width apart. Now we're going to get started. Go. 2 V's. Remember, front heel, back toes. Now breathe in, like this. Left arm goes back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then out. 1, 2, 3, 4, breathing deeply, and then up. So I'll do it once like it should be. Step forward, in. And up. Now you can do it a third time, but this is going to be different. You can breathe in, back, like you're cocking a gun. Now you want to punch under your arm, under your elbow, step directly across, pivot on the balls of your feet, and up with your left arm. Now push out, and up. Now we're going to do this again backwards. You're going to have to improvise a little because you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to do it and hopefully do it along with me. In, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. And up. Step forward. In. Out. And up. Third time's the same as the other third time. Forward. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, punch under your elbow. Step directly across. Pivot on balls of your foot. And up. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And up. Our next one's going to be different, so we're going to do this 5 times. Let's go. Without stepping. And up. Back 1. Elbow in, always in. Press it towards your spine. Out. And up. In again, 3. And out. 4. Fifth one is different. Back, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, up quickly with your arms, hands, open them, down. Press down hard. Now pull in and push down hard. 3 times. 2. And 3. Oh, I was supposed to shut my hands there. Now do your best with this. This is the last move. Back, up, swing them around, and push out. Breathe hard when you do that, like this. It's the last move, make it count. Everything should be solid right now. Now, back, and relax. There goes nothing. There went nothing. So, you know, when my mom talks to me and I say I'm really stressed out and freaked out and whatever, she always says to me, "Have you done Sanchin?" And I just say, "No, I haven't. But I should have, and I am starting to." So I wanted to show you that for my dad on Father's Day, so that you can also benefit from his teachings of not just karate, but breathing, inner balance, and stress relief. I hope you learned something today, even if it was just that I love my papa and my papa-san. Happy Father's Day.